Gale Force Esports versus Team eLevate, our first game in the best of 3 series here at the Enter the Storm North America. We have the playoffs, the finals, the final day, and Gale Force Esports and eLevate. We could again end up with a ban, and there it is, Zagara. I've been talking about this already a bit earlier when we had a bit of a failed draft that apparently had to be restarted. Zagara is very popular in North America, and normally when you're looking at the draft, oftentimes it's all about like that Kel'Thas and that Tyrande, but especially on the North American servers, the priorities have started to change a bit, so Zagara is being banned out here instead of an early first pick. Tyrande still banned by eLevate, which allows now Gale Force Esports to go into that Kel'Thas, which is really popular. But in comparison to Europe, Kel'Thas is still strong on NA, but there's also high focus on Jaina, and besides that, we oftentimes see even the tanks picked first. So that's something that Gale Force Esports could attempt to do here now as well. So there's a couple of ways how you can start into the draft. There's these subtle changes that you have between the regions that really make for all those small nuances and differences that we are seeing in the way that our maps are being, or not only maps, but like lineups are being picked and banned. So for now, again, the possibilities, the most likely ones are Kel'Thas. There could also be a Jaina, or we could maybe see a start with a Muradin or even that ETC. So it's still like very much the same heroes. It's just a bit of a different way of how the teams on the different servers are looking at them. And that Muradin pick here early on already caters a bit to exactly that. Sylvanas plus Kel'Thas now as the counter play there, or the counter picks. Kel'Thas for the damage, Sylvanas for the push. She's extremely strong on a lot of maps. On this one in particular, I feel she can already, for like all of those tribute fights, really contribute a lot. But the Jaina pick here for Muradin makes sense if you start with the initial stun and then you get the burst damage in. That can be very sweet. That false side pick is awesome, but it still surprises me a bit because North America so far doesn't really rely on false side a lot. If you look at the European meta, false side is extremely high in priority, especially on Cursed Hollow, because you control not only the turn-in points, or well, the tribute points, but you can also try and fly just behind a boss, and when your opponent is trying to take it, use the Mighty Gust, you barrel roll over those few trees, and then you steal the boss away. And that is something that allows a lot of control for Falstad, and of course also the experience that he can gather on all of those lanes where he just simply flies in. So Gale Force, they start with a Falstad. eLevate, when it comes to the ban, they could now start to focus a bit on support bans, but we are still in a situation where they themselves haven't really taken one yet. But they still go for it. They ban out Tassadar, first of all. Now Gale Force Esports, looking at that Kel'Thas and Sylvanas that we have there, Zagara has already been banned out. They could decide to really limit the potential like tanks that are being picked here. ETC and Uther are very popular picks now, and that is of course something that Gale Force Esports could ban out. Other potential candidates would be, I suppose, Sonya, but she's not really all that popular on the North American server, whereas in Europe she is more of a regular pick, and we see her oftentimes also taken in China. Yesterday, for example, Sylvanas was hardly played in our second day of the North American playoffs. In this case now, Uther banned out, and therefore here they break up the combo potential with ETC. ETC would still be a very solid frontliner here, but they can also add this with a Johanna here, for example. On this map, you can also like try and go for Leoric. You can Wraith Walk into the opponent if they are trying to go for a channel and just try to interrupt that as fast as you can. So eLevate, they have a very solid setup, a very solid like lineup in the sense of Kel'Thas with damage and also Sylvanas. If they want a bit more, there's a Johanna, liking it a lot. If they want to have a bit more, they could go for an auto attack damage dealer, I suppose, and they might even consider a Vala here, for example, or a Reyna. Reyna, of course, on this map, when you get the curse, like with Hyperion in general, you can zone the tribute, you can go straight for a structure that you can burst down. So there's a lot of what you can actually achieve with a good Reyna player on a map like Cursed Hollow. It would be a very aggressive setup if they're really playing with a Johanna solo, and it would also require them to go into a very strong healer. Normally, when we're looking at this setup, it's more that Rhaegar and that Charism, but it could be an attempt of eLevate to pick Malfurion away from Gale Force Esports, since Malfurion is a hero that is oftentimes used as a counter pick to Kel'Thas in North America. And also with those roots, after Muradin uses his stun, you could lock a target down. But eLevate, they decided they want to have Rhaegar here, so it feels a bit like we are going to see either a melee assassin played by eLevate. It could be against again the Thrall that we've seen a lot, or they're just saying, hey, we need a strong healer for our Johanna, and then we can go for additional damage dealer. Gale Force Esports with a Charism and a Tyrael, so shields plus Charism with the heals here. Very cool setup here for them overall. I'm really liking this, and especially Sanctification can of course negate a lot of the damage, and eLevate could think about playing that Thrall now. We've seen him yesterday a lot. He was played in a lot of these games, and this is a setup where a Thrall would really thrive as well, especially since Rhaegar of course can just like heal him with the Ancestry healing. And there's also on top of that the lightning shield that makes Thrall even more dangerous. And it takes a bit of the pressure away from Kel'Thas and Sylvanas, since they usually are pretty safe in the backline and can just like dish out their damage, get that silence in. And with a Thrall, oftentimes it's very much about building up the momentum and trying to drive like this entire force that you have into the opponent's backline and breach through Muradin and Tyrael to reach Jaina. So it's something that they can do and play here. But they could, of course, also still go for a bit more range damage here if they want to poke from a distance and just try to burst targets down. Johanna would then be alone at the front line, which is always a bit tricky, but with Rhaegar and Lance's really healing that you have with the Iron Skin on Johanna, you have a potential to at least make that happen. It is Thrall, though. I'm liking it. Very solid picks here for both sides. eLevate with a very, very nice lineup here, and the Gale Force Esports, of course, with a very similar one. So, guys, we're going to go into game number 1, Cursed Hollow here at the North America playoffs between Gale Force Esports and Team eLevate. Game is starting, ladies and gentlemen. We are in our first match in the best of 3 series in the losers bracket of the End of the Storm playoffs. We are looking at eLevate versus Gale Force Esports, and to the left side of the map, Nespa for eLevate on Thrall. We have Bashix on Rhaegar, Killik on Kel'Thas, Hakfu on Sylvanas, and in this case it's Boss Floss playing Johanna. To the right side of the map for the Gale Force Esports, we have Hao on Muradin, Hexo on Karazim, Mystique on Tyrael, A on Jaina, and Ball and Beast is playing Falstad. Solid setup here for both of the teams. An early block already on level 1 for Thrall, so he's going to be quite happy against these auto attacks that are going to hit him. So normally, of course, on Thrall you can go for a couple of builds. I mean, very popular is the lightning build, which in this case has already been abandoned. You can go either for a hybrid build at this point, or you can just simply say, okay, it's going to be the Wind Fury talents, starting with that level 7 talent, 13 and 16. And they are already all starting to jump in, going straight for the attack again against the towers. Ball and Beast is trying to take over the experience, but both of the towers are going to fall. And in the mid lane, we saw the exact same thing. It's this early aggression that we always see in these situations where teams are just like trying to make sure that they're getting a lot of damage in against the structures there. Down to the bottom of the map, Nespa versus Mystique are still fighting it out with the Wind as the talent on level 1. So there's, of course, also one season marksman at least, and that is on the side of Falstad, who is going to use that talent. Night take spawn taken for Johanna, and just a very solid setup for the two of them. Both teams are currently in the losers bracket here, and it's going to be quite interesting to see which team is going to advance. We have in the grand final a best of 7 already, the setup where especially the Bob Ross fan club is playing, and this is going to be quite a bit of fun to see them again. They lost the map actually during this tournament. Finally, it was about time. I mean, it took ages. They were on a record for like 24-0 in maps, and then at some point they lost the game against the Murloc Geniuses, but they still won the best of 3 series and find themselves after the winner bracket victory in the grand final. And they can just chill, watch all of these games happening, study a few potential opponents, and then of course just like focus on that best of 7 where they are going to start with a 1-0 lead into the series. Already down here we have Mystique and, yeah, well, Nespa going toe-to-toe against each other. And the Root against Tyrael. Wow, that's already quite a bit of damage that he has to endure here. Up to the top lane, it looks like they are about to dive really deep into this particular setup to make sure that they get a kill, but no, they went through the wall. Level 4 talents with the Envenom now taken. Muradin, Hao was trying to rotate around, and they're attempting to go for Bashix. Nice dodge, actually, but look at that gravity lapse and also the bombs that are being used here with the Envenom. Falstad nearly dying, has to escape, and after the Conjurer's pursuit on level 1, we now see the Ice Shards or the Frost Shards taken as a level 4 talent for Jaina. Tribute is on the map, and Karazim went straight into his healing ward, so we have healing ward for him. We're seeing also the Feral Heart taken here in the case of Rhaegar, trying to of course give himself a bit more of extra sustain so that he don't have to move back this much. And we have a double Envenom, by the way. I only mentioned the one on Thrall, but Sylvanas, of course, going for the same talent here. Tyrael at the bot lane, dying to Nespa. Wow, that one-on-one turned out really in favor of Thrall. Well played there. First kill of the game as well, so he's going to be very happy about this. We have the Laws of Hope on Johanna, and it looks like Muradin is the one who has to take over at the bot lane to soak the experience. I mean, he didn't really miss too much, but he's trying to push back Thrall right away, as up at the top lane, that pressure play is still ongoing, thanks to Killik on Kel'Thas and also Sylvanas played by Hakfu here. Again, Secret Weapon as the talent on level 7, very likely since Power Throw has been the level 4 choice for Falstad. And we have the Revelation build for Muradin. We are seeing also Netherwind now for Kel'Thas, which could allow him to go in and maybe start a lockdown attempt here. Boss Floss is also moving in with the rest of the team, and they are attempting to go for Falstad, at least that's what it looked like for a second. Tyrell is still in the middle of the map as Muradin is dealing with Thrall down at the bottom of the game. Already, everybody else trying to just aim for experience. Pretty solid and pretty like slow game here. We had a lot of aggression against the structures early on, but right now everybody is just happy to stay on low and soak the experience and wait for the tributes to spawn to really start with the team fights. The early level 7 talent, on the other hand, is giving a slight lead now to eLevate, which they can use to maybe potentially push in and get a kill, or at least drop a hero on a couple of hit points. Yeah, that gravity lapse, that would have ended the life of Falstead for sure. But down here we have also a battle starting now, as the level 7 talent for Thrall has been taken with a wind shear talent here, so reduces the cooldown, and they're starting to jump in. The fight at the top, on the other hand, is still ongoing, and this is starting to threaten the fort. Falstead has to move away. Jaina is very much alone. Once again, the shield glare used against Hexo can potentially stun him out again. This time the chain lightning moves in. Nespa and Boss Floors are doing an amazing job here to prolong that tribute for as long as they can. Just look at that lead and experience now for Team eLevate, thanks to the 4 that has been eliminated. And we still have that around. Healing Ward now also taken down by the chain lightning. There's 4 heroes now at the bot lane. It's a 4 versus 2. Nespa moves away. Everybody else is rotating to the bot lane. If they now get the tribute too, I mean, that would be the worst case scenario for Team Gale Force Esports. It looks like that could actually happen. There's the bombs again, but Khaldor is down. They move in though with everything else that they have, and that could be the counter kill. It is against Ball and Beast. Falstad is eliminated, and they go straight for the next potential kill here. In this case, Thrall is starting to drop low though, and they get the kill against him. But Johanna is still in the fight. Hawk Fu with the damage. He dies too. It's a triple kill against them. Everybody's low for the Gale Force Esports. But now that they have the control over the fight, they are trying to also drop Rhaegar, who's desperately trying to move away. They get the tribute, and all that experience that was gathered by eliminating the 4 at the top lane has been negated now by that triple kill that we could just see. 2 kills against 3 overall in the game now, and we're having the teams moving back onto the lane to soak experience here. In the middle of the map already, A is on his Jaina, just like forcing back whatever he can. We have now a few watchtowers taken for the extra vision to the bottom of the map. Rashix and also like Hakfu starting to get into position to really push at least tower back now. So the lane is being taken apart once again, thanks to the unstable poison, of course, for Hakfu. Sylvanas is getting in position for this. In the middle of the map, we're having Boss Floss going up against Tyrell, and up to the top, it's a very alone Falstad that is trying to make his place here, as Nespa is attempting to go straight for another camp that they can use to push these lanes. But the bot lane, that's where structures are being destroyed and eliminated. Yeah, Hao is actually taking quite a bit of damage thanks to that gravity lapse that Killick already used on his Khaldor, so he's pushing that away as well. And that being said, looking into the mid lane, we still have Mystic and Boss Force both aiming for the level 10 now. And it looks like just in time for that tribute on the map, we're going to see the talent for both of the teams. So level 10s have been hit. Sundering, Wailing Arrow, Blessed Shield, Ancestral Healing, and Phoenix are being used. And we have the 7-sided strike. We have also Avatar plus Mighty Gust, Water Elemental, and of course the Sanctification for Tyrell in play now for this tribute. It is going to be the second tribute for one of these teams. It's not going to be the most important one just yet. Phoenix for the zoning already used, but Khaldor had to go deep for this one, and he gets taken out. Tyrael is about to be killed as well, but he uses Sanctification, stays safe, and moves away. Nice heal here on Johanna. Very well played by Rhaegar. But of course, that Khaldor's kill is something that that basically ruins their day right now. The zoning is real as Muradin is forcing everybody back, especially Sylvanas, and this is going to be tribute number 2 for Gale Force Esports. They still have to deal with that particular camp that is pushing the top lane, but overall they're doing an absolutely amazing job right now. We have in the mid lane still Sylvanas with the attempt to just burst down a wave. Unstable Poison is going to help quite a bit with this, but at least for now, as you can already tell, it's just all that they can do. Bot lane pressure against Hao, potentially. They can't really do too much just yet to really force him back. I mean, they're always trying to put him under a bit of pressure, but Hexo is now also starting in to make it an even-numbered fight. 2 versus 2. Level 11. Still a bit of a lead, I would say. Well, actually, it's like pretty dead even right now. But yeah, that tribute, of course, forces now also the fight out in the next game. eLevate has to go for this one. If they don't want to risk being cursed here, they have to go for the tribute up at the top lane. So we will see them rotate around very quickly. Already Hakfu getting in position to make sure that he can just like zone that out a bit. Just maybe like throw in 1 or 2 of his Shadow Daggers and start it from there. So Boss Floss in position. Mystic is always moving moving in again. Haxo with a jump. Boss Frost could straight go in with another mistake, with another shield glare if he needs to. But Nespa and Bashix are now arriving. This makes it into a 5 versus 5 battle right now. So once again, teams are starting to move in. Hao is in position, and we're seeing everybody else zoned out by the Phoenix, but the healing ward did really well here. Kept them alive. Hao is also now half HP, so he needs to be careful. Silence is hitting. A very nice silence against 3. Sundering used on top of all of it. And even with the 7-sided strike and also sanctification being used, it looks like eLevate is pushed back for now. Gale Force Esports, are they going to lose Muradin? It looks like they will. He's trying to stay close enough to Hexo to get some heals, but it's not happening. Muradin is down, but Boss Floss is so low and now also slowed. If they can just put some damage on him, he's gonna fall, but he actually escapes. Johanna is on the way back. We have Sylvanas now moving in as well. And again, the Phoenix being used as the kill against Sylvanas happens. And now it could be the end of Johanna as well. Yeah, oh, what a gravity lapse. The save in the last moment. Well done here. Great use on the side of Khaldor, but it is going to be the curse against eLevate. Gale Force Esports, they get the curse now, the last tribute, and in the mid lane we're seeing Bashix and Nespa already trying to defend as much as they can, but this is of course going to cost them a few structures. The bot lane is pushing already hard against the 2 towers and also, in this case, the gate at the front wall. So we have a boss about to be taken. And this is actually forcing now eLevate also to go for a boss themselves. They might even be a bit too late already, because the one at the top is taken. If the rotation happens immediately, there's a good chance that they will arrive in time with Falstad use the Mighty Gust and push them away. Falstad could fly in. It's actually not risking it. It's too late with that. And we also see in the mid lane now the attack against the fort. But Falstad could have actually made that play. He could have flown in, unless of course he was in cooldown on the fly in. That's something that I really couldn't double check here now. But Mighty Gust was definitely not in cooldown, so he had that option. It's boss against boss, but with the curse, the lanes are of course still pressuring very hard. And that's another fort that has just now been eliminated. So currently we're having level 13 talents for both of the teams at the same time, with the chain bomb coming into play. Muradin therefore even going into the spell shields. He's just simply saying, okay, you know what, I'm gonna go and play this super safe right now. I'm not going to risk anything in this case. And they're starting to move around with even an ice block now claimed. And it's going to be the potential kill against Thrall. They move for him and Nespa is down. Well done here. Great move, good kill, and now they're trying to just like move down through the bot lane to take down even more of these structures. And well, with that, they might be able to do more than only break through the wall. So they're actually doing a very solid amount of damage here already, and there's very little that they can currently do against this. Breaking into the keep, that would be of course the dream for them, and they are trying to do exactly that, but more than the wall is not possible, at least not for now. They have to move away. It was still a pretty nice attempt. So already we have a few more structures falling on the map. All of the forts have, by the way, been eliminated. The fort down to the bot lane against the boss was still saved. And we're having now, with nearly level 15, so slightly inexperienced, pretty solid position for Gale Force Esports on the map. So they have a very, very secure spot. We see already camps taken again for both of the teams. The Siege Giant camps first of all. But there's still also one Bruiser camp that they can take if they wanted to. But yeah, right now, things are looking pretty sweet, actually, for Gale Force Esports. It's not like they're massively ahead or anything, but they were able to take down most of the opponent's structures. It's 3 forts against 5 in favor of Gale Force Esports. And this first game is so far going pretty well for them. The setup that they're running here is doing fairly well against what eLevate is trying to bring to the match. And now with the level 16 talents just around the corner, we can also see that again 2 spell shields have been taken on level 13 for Team eLevate, so they are a little bit worried about the damage that Jaina can dish out, and not only her, but also of course then the other heroes that can use their abilities to drop even a few more hit points. It's a very heavy commitment on the other hand. Evasive Fire is a strong talent to take on level 13. In the case of Johanna, you could go for Hold Your Ground if you really want to rely heavily on that iron skin that you have. The tribute position is really sweet though, but this level 16, that's the biggest problem right now, because it's going to hit any second, especially with this wave starting to push in. And once the level 16 talent is hit, then we should definitely see a move by Gale Force Esports to go straight for the tribute. But they need to channel that out first, and yes, they broke the channel. Bashix actually just stopped it. Here comes the 7-sided strike. 16 talent isn't ready yet. They didn't go for the minions. I really thought they would take now another creep wave before they move in, but they are aggressive enough to say yeah, we don't need that, and they drop Johanna. That's all that they needed to reach the next level, and that's the holy ground now. Stone Form also taken. Hao is trying to channel it through, and he gets it. It's the first tribute now after the curse for them. And of course with this, they could even just like go for another fight against the structures. But of course, first of all, they have to defend against this one, since this is a massive camp that has been sent into the mid lane. And with that bruiser camp that was claimed earlier, this would just do way too much damage. So they move in, burst it away, have now elite inexperience once again. Level 16, of course, is going to be ready for eLevate as well. That's why we have them after the healing surge, also with the tidal waves. And with that level 16 talent with the Tempest Fury for the additional damage on the third strike with the Wind Fury. Arcane Barrier, safety for Khaldor, safety first. Lost Soul, that was not the level 1 talent, so combo off with Cold Embrace, but still that damage reduction. Oh, sorry, the damage increase is still totally worth it. You don't need to go for the cooldown reduction on level 1. We have in this case with the Wind to just give a bit more safety to the hero. But now also, talking about safety, Holy Renewal as the talent to give you a few hit points out of Shield Glare. 40 seconds on the first boss. And the one down here is going to be ready in 51. So it shouldn't really take too long for them to rotate around and make something happen there. Already in the mid lane, Hao, Mystic and Hexo in position. And this is now tribute number 2. And let's see if eLevate is fighting for it. They're starting to rotate in. We already have Green Jesus. Well, Thrall is pulling a bit of a Hulk here on his carpet as well. Trying to move in. Tribute is there, and here's the trap, and they are starting to go for it. Boss Floss is immediately the target again, and they are trying to drop Johanna. 7-sided strike used, ancestral healing in play. Hakfu is super low, and they're trying to go for him. Jumps away in the last second, but all these chain bombs are starting to do some serious work. That healing ward is saving lives, but there's the kill against not only Rhaegar, also Falstad dying, and it is Johanna that dies next. It is eLevate that is on the run here. They're trying to get another kill in, but now Khaldor is dead too. For the frost armor, the ice block, that just saved for a few more seconds Jaina, but Hakfu is very likely to drop now as well. It's a triple kill against them too though, so this is not over just yet. Hakfu dies, and there's only Thrall around, and he's up against Muradin plus Tyrael, and he's not making it. Nope. There's no way. He doesn't have the ult ready. And yeah, Phoenix is off cooldown again, but of course Khaldor is still dead for another couple of seconds. Tribute number 2, and with 2 heroes still on the map, we're seeing Hao now moving into the middle of the map, very much alone. The Lone Ranger trying to just like take maybe a tower down with another Storm Bolt. That's not going to happen anytime soon, but still. It's 12 kills against 6, so very, very solid move there. We are still seeing up at the top lane Falstad getting in position to maybe go for boss. What's going to happen down here? Are we going to have the same commitment for Team eLevate? They could try and go for it. At the top lane, it's already being attacked, so yes, they go for boss indeed, and they have the heroes faster on the map. I don't really think that eLevate can go for the boss themselves, because they only have now 4 heroes on the map. Thrall is missing, and they are just going to be too late. The rotation to the bot lane would be in time to really contest this. I really don't think that this would be a good idea to start the boss, but they do. Can they really burst it down? They might actually be able to do it. It depends on Falstad. If Falstad flies in, but he wants to go for the curse, that alone, of course, is already worth it. They don't have to go for the boss at the bot lane. As long as they take the tribute right now and make sure that they can push then with that, it's completely fine for them. And yes, the curse has been taken, and that boss is of course going to go straight through the top lane and start to push down here. This is actually a pretty sweet position. They didn't even have to fight for the second boss. They get enough thanks to the tribute at spawn, and now the attempt to just go for the keep. The boss is already on his way. Sundering being used. Nice silence, but the 7-sided strike. And we have also now the Sanctification used to negate some of the damage. Good heals here thanks to the healing ward. A, of course, taking a ton of damage thanks to all of those chain bombs that have been dished out by Khaldor. But they go for the camp. They are taking the Siege Giant camp now. And that puts them into a very, very solid position here once again, since they have now another camp pushing in. That boss alone already way too much damage for them to negate, and this is of course going to be the first keep in this scenario. So yeah, keep is gonna fall. Can they pull a bit more though? The boss, by the way, moved down to the bot lane, is trying to go through that gate, is eventually going to fall. The mid lane is getting pressured, and even with the curse, it's really tricky to take that camp down. So the fort is annihilated. Falstad flies into the middle to soak the experience here, and with the lead that they have, it will mean level 20 talents for them. So now they're going to take the 20s, and that gives them the Storm talents that they could once again use to maybe even get a second keep in this particular match. So they're starting to rotate around here. Mystic is in position. Hexo, Hao, we see Falstad moving in. Jaina is still on the way back, but we have that boss also finally eliminated. It's about time. Put some pressure on it. and they're waiting for a chance to maybe drop a target. And there is Khaldor. Hasn't really seen anybody yet, but they move to the top, and there's the snipe against that keep that, of course, suffered damage already earlier. Nexus Frenzy on false set and a double hardened shield. It's an easy picking for them. That level 20 talent alone is already going to do the job. There's a Phoenix to zone them out a bit, but, well, they have what they wanted, and, yeah, they got an easy kill on this one. Great position here for Gale Force Esports, definitely. Like, a very, very good spot. 2 of the keeps down, and they are still ahead in experience. It's not going to matter for too long. Once the level 20 is hit by their opponents, it's going to be a situation where it's even talents. But still, if you get ahead in a scenario like this and you drop 2 of those keeps, this is, of course, a great position for you to be in. And you will always be in a spot where, especially the fights over the tributes, the longer they last, they will work in your favor, since the lanes are pushed against your opponent and therefore, of course, limit their way of dealing with such a situation. Once again, the move straight to the top. There's only one camp available. And it seems like both of them are fighting for it. The level 20 talents are there. Here comes the Sundering. Oh, Khaldor! Karazim is nearly annihilated. Nice move by Thrall. Once again, he goes for Holy Ground and Sanctification. Saves his teammates and also the camp. So it's not a single kill that we saw in this fight, but, well, it was very close. Looked for a second like Karazim would die here, but he is able to stay alive. And in this case, it was Thrall who really saved the day for them. The bot lane is being pushed heavily right now. And what we could see, well, first of all, we're seeing a bit of a trap, which I kind of like, because that bot lane is so dangerous that you kind of have to rotate over to make something happen. But it looks like they're going to take the safe path. They could also simply move up to the top to try and create some space for this particular lane, because that's catapults together with siege giants that are now starting to push in. So that would have worked as well. We already have the situation right over here, defended against. But this is really the issue. Lanes pressuring just constantly against Team eLevate. That's really the big deal in this particular scenario right now. And the tributes are again on the map. It's really an early one, so it's not really like the tribute matters too much, but of course it's a nice excuse to fight. And they're both taking position. It would be a bit more worrisome if this is going to be a tribute for eLevates. This would be the second one for them. But already here, the position taken. Boss lost. Oh, under pressure. Hammer time drops. Oh my god. Johanna is dead. And with Johanna dying, now we could see that turnaround and maybe even game. They go for Thrall, and he's completely isolated from the rest of the team. He gets stunned out and taken apart. It's a double kill. And, well, with Hakfu just jumping away and everybody else following it up, has to use the Bolt of the Storm to escape here. But now they can go for the core. They actually take the camp first. They don't even push in just yet. I suppose they could have gone for a core move. I mean, after what we saw in the last game on the European qualifier with Na'Vi, a core move would have been... yeah, Na'Vi would have done that already like 5 minutes ago. But in this case, they are just completely happy going for the keep instead. So 21 minutes in, and they want to drop the last keep of the game. They don't even go for core yet, but I actually think there would have been a great chance for them to finish it. Khaldor is, of course, always a bit of an issue, but as long as you split and you don't climb up too much, they should be in a decent spot where they can make that work. Either way, the keep is now down, and we have the boss up on the map again. And with 18 seconds on Thrall, they can actually just like move up to the top and try to claim this one. Falstad is already on the way. Is starting the boss early, trying to put some early damage on it so that it can get that easily before Thrall is back to business. The threat is, of course, always that the Sundering is going to push you off the spot. But for now, it looks very much like this boss is going to go straight for the core, and then they can move to the bot lane, get the second one, or push it simply with this one. It doesn't really matter too much, but they have a very, very nice push going either way, and that should result in them claiming game number 1, of course, unless we are going to see a magnificent comeback here. Oh, actually, a bit of a fight happening already. Sorry. We are seeing now their focus. Oh, the great heal in the last second on Johanna. But these chain bombs are really starting to do damage. Thrall is down, and once again, Sanctification and also the zoning doing quite a lot of work. Johanna is falling now as well. They can move back, doesn't really have to go into the fight again. Khaldor is still a threat here, but they want to take him down, and everybody else is moving away now. They are just like too low, but this boss, of course, this is like the big deal. The boss together with the catapults is moving for the core, and they have to retreat. They have to try and defend, and that is something that, of course, everybody on the setup for the Gale Force Esports already knows. So they are starting to move in. There is, well, Khaldor is still there. He wants to get the kill, and he can get the kill. Here are the bombs, and they split. Oh, yeah, dude, that was close. False, that was really close. Not that it matters. It is still gonna be game, and it's a 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series now for the Gale Force Esports. Battlefield of Eternity is map number 2 between Gale Force Esports and Team eLevate, and currently Gale Force Esports is in the lead, and we have eLevate with the first pick, first ban now on Battlefield of Eternity, our second map in the series, here at the end of the Storm playoffs, loser bracket for North America. And currently with the bans and the picks, Khaldor's apparently just a little bit too annoying in the last game. Actually, they were the ones playing him, and that last potential kill against False, that was actually kind of funny that we saw there. It was a very nice approach that we saw from Khaldor, but didn't really work out, and the boss would have finished the core anyways. It is the potential to ban out Tyrande right now, and I really think that Gale Force Esports should go into that Tyrande ban. We've seen so many crazy Tyrande snipe compositions work extremely well that it's always a bit like, feels weird to go up against her. Tyrande is being banned out, and as it is the North America tournament, that high priority on Zagara against shining through, so she is taken right away as the hero here for Team eLevate, which allows Gale Force Esports to go into something along the lines of an Uther ETC, maybe a Muradin instead. Muradin Jaina, for example, could be a good combo here. And Muradin Jaina would be very, very solid. But then again, you give ETC and the potential Uther away to eLevate, so maybe they're going to just like switch it around a bit. There's the Muradin, there's the Jaina, they allow it. They allow eLevate to go for Uther ETC if they want it. You don't have to commit really to Uther ETC, but that Uther alone is already quite strong, and then you just have to answer the question for yourself if ETC is really a hero that you would like to play there. We've seen a couple of teams already fail with him, especially when they were trying to play him as the solo hero. If, on the other hand, then you have an Uther with ETC, then you can always save him with that Divine Shield or with the Burst Heal. ETC already chosen. Is it going to be Uther? It should be. He's really, really strong, and it would be a bit odd to not see him picked here. eLevate has the potential to use then the Divine Shield with a Mosh Pit combo, but they don't really have to. I mean, there's a lot of other ways of how you can use a setup like this, even picking just another melee assassin then later on the road. Gale Force Esports, they have a ban now, and currently thinking about the potential bans, it's actually like a little bit tricky what they could ban out here. Maybe some additional damage that eLevate could use in that setup. There's of course also the Tacit I'd consider, but in general I suppose one of the heroes that you could really get rid of is an auto attack damage dealer. Maybe the Falstad, maybe the Reyna. Depends a bit on what Gale Force Esports would really like to play themselves here. They have a pretty cool setup, and if they want to go for example into like a Sonya playstyle, that would fit quite well. Then again, Sonya is not as popular on the North American server as she is in China and Europe. She is still being played, but not with that high focus on the hero. So it's a bit unlikely maybe that they even go for Sonya here. Maybe a Thrall is more likely. Then, of course, the problem is still that Uther is on the opponent's side, so you can't rely on a Divine Shield. But you can still play something along the lines of Karazim or, of course, Rhaegar, which sees a very high priority in North America. Rhaegar is one of these heroes that is very underplayed in the European scene right now. We have the ban starting, and they ban out Sonya, so they were apparently a bit worried that eLevate plays her together with that Uther, and I can understand that. Then Tyrell is being banned out because, of course, Gale Force Esports is, well, eLevate is a bit worried that they might just use that Sanctification on Tyrell to negate a lot of the damage that could occur after the Mosh Pit is being used. It's a pretty sweet move. So both of the teams now with very solid second bans. And Gale Force Esports, I suppose that at this point for them it would really make a whole lot of sense if they could either into a second range damage dealer or even into a melee assassin. To be honest with you, they could play both. Just play a strong healer with that, go into that Rhaegar again, or maybe play the Karazim with the Divine Palm, and they could still add a Thrall, a Reyna, or even a Vala. Sylvanas, of course, is a hero that you oftentimes see on Battlefield of Eternity too. Once that you get the objective, you can really just like start pushing with the Immortal and just disable all the structures here. But they go into Reyna first. They still have the potential to add something else that does damage, or they can just simply say, hey, listen, we're going to add a double support. We're going to use Tacita now, and we're going to add something like a Brightwing or a Rhaegar to really help out with the burst heals. But we give those shields in, and we have vision against Zagara. That's another advantage that you would have with something like a Tacita, because you can use that to take down these creep tumors. You could, of course, also use a Karazim, and instead of any other level 4 talent, you just go for Foresight, which is another great talent to just reveal areas. So every time it dashes in, he reveals the area around him, and that would help too. But they go Malfurion, who can fulfill a very similar role by just using that Moonfire spam to take these creep tumors down. So that helps too. It's a little bit more elegant if you have a Tacita or you have that Karazim with an adjustment on this build. But a Malfurion with that low mana cost that you have on the Moonfire can also do the trick in such a situation. And of course, you are taking Malfurion away from eLevate. You could decide to use him to lock down targets even more. Nah, actually no. A double healer in this case is not going to happen. Nah. What am I talking about? Uther and Malfurion, it's been ages since we've seen something like this, and I don't really think that it would have been popular here. But the Malfurion as a heal is now in play for Gale Force Esports, allows them tranquility during the fights. And since there is not really a whole lot where you would use a cleanse, I suppose at this point there's actually a chance that they're going to go into the Enduring Growth. I mean, you can use a cleanse against a few of the things that are out there, but I don't really feel like they have to. The Thrall is now played for eLevate, and I think that's something that Gale Force Esports should have been a bit worried about. Personally, I would have taken Thrall. On Gale Force Esports side, I would have taken Thrall next to Muradin. I would have used another healer. And yeah, use that Thrall plus maybe Karazim or Rhaegar. I feel that would have been a very solid setup for Gale Force Esports. They decided against it, and now they have to face the music. And in this case, it is a lot of Orc music because that Thrall is not going to jog around. With that potential shield there on him, that Divine Shield, Gale Force Esports is in a bit of trouble, I want to say. Johanna for the front line is going to help with it, though. So she's going to be pretty sweet together with Muradin to really lock Thrall down, especially, of course, since we're having now also the roots on Malfurion. We have Jaina with the additional Blizzard. It's quite a bit of damage that Thrall has to be careful about. So pretty sweet setup here. Battlefield of Eternity is map number 2, and I guess we're going to jump in and find out which team is going to take it here. Maybe we're also seeing the 2-0 victory for Gale Force Esports and them advancing to the next round. Going to find out together in just a bit here at the end of the Storm North America. Game number 2 has started between eLevate and Gale Force Esports. And of course, that overlay that you currently look at is a little bit wrong. Of course, we have the lead currently for Gale Force Esports. It's going to be fixed in a second. But the important part to note here is really, of course, the lineups that we're seeing in this case. We have Nespa on the side of Team eLevate on Thrall this time. Bashix on Uther, Killig on Vala, Hakfu on Zagara, and Bossfloss is playing ETC. To the right side of the map, it is Hao currently playing Johanna, Ball and Beast on Reyna this time, Hex on Malfurion, Mystic on Muradin, and A is playing Jaina. So the map is a bit different. We have now Battlefield of Eternity, and we have setups that are very different compared to the first game. Once again, we are seeing that Thrall with Block as the level 1 talent, so they're trying to rely upon him once again. Of course, also right now the Frostbolt build, the multi-shot build for Vala. Both of the teams going straight for the attack here. No Sylvanas in play, but that's Zagara. That should allow the team to the bottom of the map to push even a bit faster. The one thing that's really important to note here is that, especially on the side of Gale Force Esports, they had an opportunity to take the Thrall himself, and they decided against it. Now that they have to face him once more, we have at the top lane both of them still just bursting that away and going straight for that well too. So yeah, well is already about to be destroyed. Hao is still there with the Knight takes pawn. Zagara up at the top lane trying to play a bit of a counterpart here. It looks like it's going to be the straight goes for the fort here. The teams are not joking around, are they? There's bottom lane, we see the same thing, and Hao is probably communicating, boys, this is not going well. This is not looking good. ETC is nearly dead, but at the top lane, they just don't stop. They have their healer with them, and they're starting to push this in. Zagara is attempting to do what she can, but both of the teams are with the next wave starting to go straight for the structure again. It's just like, screw the early game, screw team fights, screw laning. We are going to go straight for the aggression, and we are going to drop these structures. So the first one down, both of the teams already losing a fort and taking the towers here as well. And this is just getting crazy. I mean, they're aiming for level 4 as fast as they can, so that once the Immortal is in play, they already have the level 4 and can play with this. Yeah. It's basically just like Blizzard. Why do we have structures on the map? Why do we do that? We currently have Bossfloss, Nespa, and Bashix at the bot lane, even destroying the wall now. And they're starting to move in straight again for that particular boss. They just play around each other. They don't even go for any kind of like fights. It's just like the entire time full force on the objectives and structures. It's a PvE environment that they're playing now. This is looking like training. Level 4 is going to hit much faster though, now that we had a bit of experience soaked on lane on the side of the blue team. So eLevate will get a slight lead with this. And already the moves against the Immortal again. Who's going to be faster? It looks like the blue team might be... yeah, they're going to be able to get it. So they get the first Immortal here. Blue team Immortal is moving in. 2 minutes and 20 seconds into the game and the objective has been taken. Like, just to give you a bit of an idea, look at the damage against heroes. Absolutely nothing. Hero damage 0, 0, 0, 0. So absolutely no damage against heroes yet. 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the game after a fort has fallen and the first Immortal was in play. That's when we have 0 damage on 4 of the heroes here. Finally, it's starting to accumulate, but that's a pretty cool statistic. I don't think I've ever seen that before at that time in the game. But yeah, so now we have still the attacks going strong. Level 4 talents have by now been picked too. And of course, in this case, well, the Immortals actually bursted down immediately. They didn't even go through the entire wall. But we have now the Rampant Growth taken. We see the Eternal Retaliation for the cooldown reduction on the Condemn. And we're having the Frost Charts also chosen now for Jaina. ETC is starting to move away. Oh my god. Boss Floss is getting dropped as the Dwarf jumps on his head. But yep, the escape of the Dwarf just in the last second. A kill against 0. Level 6 versus level 6. Arsenal used now on Vala and the Boundless Conviction on Uther. Down to the bottom of the map we are seeing Hakfu and Hao just facing each other on the lane here. So Zagara versus Johanna. And this is really a fun game that these guys are playing right now. It follows its very special and very unique rule set, I just want to say. But we have that earlier kill at least on the side of the red team, so a bit of an advantage for Gale Force Esports. They take a slight experience lead. It's nothing really too fancy, but you can at least see that all that hard work was not for nothing. But Killik and Hakfu, they are going to take the XP now that they need here with this wave. So in terms of structures, it's still pretty even. I guess the blue team is slightly ahead now since they were able to take down the ones up at the top. But so far, it's all still good. And we have the rotation down to the bot lane where they go for another camp. So camp after camp is going to be taken here across the map. Level 7 talent, just a few seconds faster for the blue team. So Team eLevate is going to go into that build with a focus on Wind Shear again, or with Wind Fury in general. 13 and 16 talents incoming now too. And we have, at the same time, Fight or Flight taken. We're seeing after the Sledgehammer also the Piercing Bolt and Frost Charts into Icelands, whereas Johanna went into Conviction after going straight into Eternal Retaliation. And Enduring Growth, of course, also he has the level 7 talent on Malfurion, since he doesn't really necessarily need to go into Cleanse. It's a nice talent to have, but that extra heal is just worth it here, at least in the eyes of Malfurion. So Hexo and his boys, they're starting to move in now. We have the Immortal being attacked again, and this looks like it's going to be the first real team fight, with Ball and Beast dying before anything else happens. He's the first victim in this battle, and that's of course now a big deal, because eLevate suddenly has not only a lead in experience, but also the better position going for the Immortal now. So it shifts a bit with the defense here. We're seeing Hao moving in. A is also in position. They try to drop Vala, not making that happen, but they lose Jaina. And that is already a pretty bad start into that Immortal fight. Once again, the attempt to at least kill one target, and it looks like ETC might be the one, but nope, he is moving away. Those stun circles didn't really do anything for them just yet. And this is starting to get a really scary position right now for Team Gale Force Esports. They are starting to fall behind in this, but looking at it, the Immortal hasn't really suffered too much damage. It's just like the heals that they want to go for. And of course the experience is definitely a bit of an issue. If you're already like half a level behind this early in the game, then it can snowball against you if the Immortal is also claimed by your opponent. But that's something that they're of course now trying to prevent. Camps for both of the teams taken on the map. The Bruiser camp has been aimed for. And well, we have them going into lanes to take these camps here now as well too. So they start to go for the camps as we speak, start to get a bit more experience. It's not like they're going to hit level 10 or anything, but the middle move against now again the Immortal. Going to try and drop this one, and the hit points, yeah, it's going to be at half HP any second, and then of course we're going to see the repositioning of the objective happening. Nice route against ETC though, Condemn and everything else locking him down, but no kill yet. But it looks like, yes, Jaina is going to fall once again. 3 kills against 1. The fight isn't over yet. ETC is also eliminated, and they move in against Uther as Thrall starts to flank and drops Johanna. They could get the counter kill, but Reyna is now dead too. And this is just like ending the life of maybe Hexo and Mystic as well. Both of them are rushing away, but they are extremely low, especially when we're talking Muradin. And whoa, that was a close call. Mystic jumps in, soaks a few of those road shots, but Malfurion, he was very close to dying here. So the Immortal repositions itself, and this is going to be nearly a full shield Immortal that we have now for Team eLevate. And that is of course like the ideal scenario. Doesn't get better than that. If you have 100%, well, I guess if you have 100%, that's a little bit better. But still, like, this one is going to do a significant amount of damage. So they're going to use that Immortal to just move in up at the top lane again and drop another fort. Level 10 abilities are also ready to make matters even worse for Gale Force Esports. Sundering, Divine Shield, more. And I suppose that we're going to see Strafe plus also Mosh Pits on ETC. Would be a bit surprised to see the stage dive. We've seen a stage dive. When was that actually? Like 2-3 weeks ago? That was when Stage Dive was played, but I would be a bit surprised to see it in this game. So they have now the level 10s as well. 10 versus 10 with Blessed Shield, Tranquility, Avatar, Water Elemental. They start to go in there. That Mosh Pit attempt now. And there we have... douchebag Thrall. Okay, they go in with a kill against Reyna and Malfuri, and Johanna is about to fall too. She is trying to get away, but should die to the poison. And yeah, there's the Chain Lightning in. Goodbye. ETC was getting a bit salty here, like the salt was real on this one. He gets the Mosh Pit off, and Thrall is simply going full troll phase and puts in a Sundering, pushes everybody out of the Mosh Pit. Still gets the kills in, but I guess that ETC was a bit salty about that move. So yeah, troll phase Thrall is being played here by Nespa, and that was definitely quite an interesting move that we just saw there. So that being said, we have once again the move, of course, happening up here in the lane to level 12 versus level 10 right now. Camps taken on the map right at this point. And yeah, let's actually see how they're going to play with this. At this point already, the move straight into the camps at the top. The moves, we could see the camp at the bottom taken out as well. Depends on if they are starting to move in for this one. So far, we haven't really seen an approach there. But they are rotating around, at least with ETC. As of course, Gale Force Esports has to deal with the camps first of all. I mean, meaning they have to de-push them. But here's the approach to go for the Khaldor camp. So yeah, killing is definitely starting to rotate here. 10 versus 10, level 13 talents are still roughly a level away. But so far, things are looking actually pretty decent. Already, there we have it. We see, yes, Mystic in position. And there is the approach, boss floors. They take the camp, but they could go for the fight, but they probably want to wait for level 13 until they do something really forcing the issue. So for now, we have still the Thrall starting to move to the top. It's all about the experience stock right now. You're trying to take those lanes still. I mean, it's a lead that you have, but you're not too far ahead. So if your opponent is dropping a structure or two, then you could be in a very tricky situation still. About 8 kills against 2, that already tells quite the story. That's exactly what they kind of need right now. We have still the level 13 talent getting ready any second right now. And that alone should really make play happening. But level 13 would also, of course, give them a lot of options of how they could play this, especially with their two camps now on the map. So they could try and steal both of them away. They could try to go straight for the Immortal instead. But yep, there we go. Level 13 talents, and are they going to try and steal the camp? Wind Fury talent on level 13. The Grace of Air has been chosen. Shrink Ray and the Frost Shot. Nice control with all of these talents. Mutalisk and also the Face Melt now with the additional slow. So yep, they're starting to take the camp away, trying to steal that. That's already a pretty sweet move on their part. Muradin, is he going to jump? Nah, he's not going to jump in for this one. I was thinking about it though, but here comes that fight again, and Hyperion immediately being used. Divine Shield on Thrall. He moves in, and yep, they go for Muradin, who has to jump away now. How, on the other hand, he can't jump out. Jaina down, ETC down, and Thrall is going straight in again. Gets stopped by Stormbolt for a second, but he's not stopping there. He's going for Muradin again, and he is dead. Well played here, and Thrall moving away. I can't help it, but I feel like we have this little battle going on between Thrall and ETC, who is the cooler guy. And so far, Thrall is definitely winning out. I mean, even Uther is convinced by now, not using the Divine Shield anymore for ETC, but instead throwing it on Thrall, who's going to be pretty happy. Trolls ETC whenever he can. ETC is dead again, and then Thrall turns around and just like takes the team apart. So he's basically like the cool version of ETC, at least in this game. Both of them are trying to fight for the dominance at the front line, but Thrall is just getting the upper hand, my friend. I'm really sorry to tell you, especially with that lockdown that we just saw against Muradin. And ETC just doesn't get a chance to get that Mosh Pit in. Even in the last fight, he couldn't channel it. And every time he wants to, there's still that Sundering around that pushes targets out. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate to be Thrall to be ETC in this game. Against Sigara, it makes sense, of course, to go straight again for one of the Burning Rage talents so that you can detect those creep tumors a bit easier. And that's exactly what Johanna does now in level 13. We're seeing the Relentless Leader for Reyna. That should actually help quite a bit with that additional CC that we are seeing on the side of the opponent's team. So eLevate is going to try to use that. Gale Force Esports, they haven't really given up on this game just yet, even though they are 7 kills behind. But with a double ice block, they're going to try and keep the heroes alive long enough so that they can really make a difference during these battles. And especially for Jaina, this is going to be important, since she has been attacked like over and over again during these fights and oftentimes dropped as the first target. The problem is really that there's so much damage already on the Immortal. I really don't think that there is any kind of a comeback potential in this particular objective fight right now. So maybe later on when we're looking into the level 16 talents, they have an opportunity to come through with this. But for now, it's just a bit of poke that they need and not much more than that. And they will eventually get the Immortal. There's only 5,000 hit points on it. And once they accomplish that, they can really start to push these lanes again. Because that would be 100% shield. Little bit less maybe, but yeah, that's already it. So for now, let's check out what's going to happen over here. We have already the move in against Mystic. There we go. And yep, the attempt for the Mosh. You gotta be joking, right? Like, they do it again. Sundering pushes them out again. I mean, really? That Thrall is going full troll cover face here. They get the kills, but if I was ETC, I would be pissed. You get a Thrall, you get actually a 3-man mosh pit off, and then that Thrall is just sitting there and is like, no, you're not. So it goes in, uses Sundering, and just like stuns them out again. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Level 15 versus level 13. They get again the boss here. But yeah, I can't believe that that is actually going this way. So a very interesting scenario. I mean, this is getting a little bit silly. This is the second time that this happens. It's really the second time that they made this particular play. So it looks like Thrall is always waiting for ETC Mosh Pit. Just use that Sundering and throw that in. Level 15.5 versus level 14. I mean, it's not like they're not winning the game. They have 13 kills against 3, but just the way that they are starting these fights is crazy. It's the double fake, if you so want. It's the fake. Everybody concentrates on the mosh pit. Nobody watches Thrall, and then that Sundering comes through. So it's only a setup. It's only a setup that they're using as well. Level 16 talents, and of course that is going to give them quite the lead here once again. As you can see right now, they're already starting to jump in. And again, we have the Tempest Fury taken here on level 16. We're also seeing Benediction. There's again the Echo Paddlers being used, and they move against that keep, and they are going to kill this one for sure. The keep is going to fall. The Immortal alone is already going to take it on. 16 to 14 talents. That Relentless Leader isn't saving Reyna either. I mean, yep, there's again the lockdown. Thrall is at the front. And Nespa, well, Nespa has 60 seconds on his Sundering. Guys, this is the only chance that ETC will have throughout the entire game to get a mosh pit off if he uses it right away after it's off cooldown. It's a 50 seconds difference between the two cooldowns at this point. So if he uses that mosh pit, he has a chance. He actually has a chance to get that through finally. So, yep. ETC, now is their moment to shine. And there we go. And he gets it off. And there's no Sundering, but he gets interrupted. I feel like that ETC is just trolling me. I can't help it. But now, yep, Malfurion is down. Level 16, nearly 70 talents. The camp is stolen. And now Muradin is also going. Oh, yep, he's going to be dropped too. And now, how could fall? Nope. Okay, so for a second it looked like there might be a bit of additional damage on him, but nope, there isn't. So the keep is gone. We have level 15 versus level 17, and things are just looking really bad for Gale Force Esports. They are in the lead in the best of 3 series, but in this game now, they are just falling farther and farther behind. And if not for a miracle, then they're not going to make it here. It's more or less going to be the next Immortal that decides the game. I mean, the camps are now pushing the lanes. We have already damage on the keep up to the top. And the 16 talents, I guess, could be enough to really force another battle. But yeah. Troll-faced Thrall is just waiting for an opportunity to use his Sundering to just like stun everybody out of the mosh pit again. So just you wait for it. It's going to be the 3rd attempt. 3 times the charm. It's going to make it happen. Hawk Fu is there. Killigan Boss Floss, they're already rotating around. And here is Salty ETC. ETC is salty. So he is starting to move up to the top. Boss Floss, of course, level 16 talents any second now for the opponent. And that would mean quite a few damage talents here now taken as well. But of course also like sustain. Just think about Muradin with the stone formula. Already has an imposing presence. We have Tenacious Roots though and the Bullseye. So that really helps with the aggression. Again, the lockdown here. So Roots are about to be used. 16 versus 16 talents. And that's the Immortal fight that you have to win. This is the one that you really have to win. Mosh Pit, another 15 seconds. This is how long Thrall has to wait before he uses his ultimate. 10 seconds. Yeah, Hawk Fu at the front. Thrall is waiting for it. Nope, used it too early. Mosh Pit wasn't ready yet. And here comes the ETC. They dart in, take down Johanna, and Boss Floss. No mosh pit for him just yet. Looks like Hawk Fu might actually fall, yeah? Hawk Fu is isolated and taken down, but Muradin has the counter kill. ETC is letting them dance now. Finally, he gets the mosh pit through. There was no Thrall Sundering anymore, and they can capitalize on the kills. So now ETC is finally a happy panda. And Thrall is maybe getting a bit salty himself, but he did really well in the early game, just like getting those Sunderings in. Anyways, as is, after a very, very dominant game with 19 kills against 4 and a quad kill in the last fight, it seems like eLevate is going to finish this game and ties the series against Gale Force Esports. Yeah, Jaina can try and make something work here, but to be honest with you, she needs to be careful that she doesn't die, because Nespa is just waiting for an opportunity to just set another ETC is actually going in. Doesn't really matter who does. It is going to be game, and this is GG as the series is tied, and we are going into game number 3 of the best of 3 series here at the end of the Storm playoffs. Game number 3, ladies and gentlemen, is starting. Tomb of the Spider Queen is the map. Gale Force Esports versus Team eLevate, and Uther is banned out right off the bat. Looks like Gale Force Esports wants to make sure that there's no ETC in Divine Shield. Even though there was, of course, like the big threat with the Thrall. It felt for some time as if Thrall was thinking that he's on the opposite side of the team and is playing against ETC and just waited for ETC to use his mosh pit, and then, you know, bam, thundering right there. They still won the game. They dominated the game, actually. So eLevate, now they can start things off with a ban on Tyrande that allows still Kel'Thas. And on this map, I would probably take Kel'Thas over Zagara, to be honest with you. They still play the North America match. They play this North America meta, and they take Zagara first. So eLevate has now their first shot at Kel'Thas, and they take it. But yeah, it's just very standard for an A to go into that Zagara first, but the Sylvanas is even being picked now, so Gale Force could go into either ETC or into Muradin. Both of those heroes are absolutely fine. Muradin and Jaina would be probably my personal pick here. I guess you can go ETC Jaina as well, but I would use the Jaina for damage after the Zagara has been chosen here for the more potential, and then also simply just use that particular ETC or either the Storm Ball on Muradin to round things off here. So that would be a pretty sweet start. I mean, this is still a map where you can see a lot of Leorics, you also see a lot of Johannas on Tomb of the Spider Queen, but still, that would be a very solid start into the game itself, so it's something that we could see here. And Jaina is being picked. Is it going to be the Muradin? Is it going to be the ETC? I suppose that one of the two is going to be taken right now. That's at least the best option that they have, in my personal opinion. So, Gale Force, they of course... The series is tied now, so they have to... try and take it. If the loser of this game is out, right? The loser of this particular game is already out and doesn't have a chance of advancing anymore. Yeah. They take their sweet time for the last one. Running down the time pool already. And there's a Johanna instead. Okay. I mean, Johanna works for you too. You can use that Condemn. You let a lot of really good tanks go, though. And eLevates, I suppose that they could ban out now. Well, if they ban out a healer, then they also limit their own healer pool. But they have the next pick, so they could do that. Yeah, maybe ban something like a Tyrell here, to be honest. Tyrell would be a good force next to Johanna to have that in the game, and also against the Kel'Thas. So you could try and ban that out. That would be maybe a choice. Could also, of course, go for a ban. Not really. I was thinking about a Tassadar for a second, but if anybody is going to pick Tassadar, it's probably going to be eLevate to play a bit against Zagara here as well. eLevate could also try to go again into Melee Assassin. I mean, there is Carrigan to consider, but Uther is banned out, so you don't have a Divine Shield. Malfurion is being banned, okay. So they don't want Malfurion to be used by the Gale Force Esports as a counter to Kel'Thas and as the root setup for Zagara's Maw. The other way around. Gale Force, I mean, they could potentially ban out Muradin now. Muradin going into the Storm Ball, Kel'Thas then with the Gravity Lapse can be quite annoying. But the setup that we're seeing for eLevate here with that Sylvanas and Kel'Thas doesn't really have the most synergy just yet. So it's more of like a pushing setup than anything else. I suppose they could also ban a Leoric, which I could definitely see in a double warrior setup here on this particular map. I mean, even with a... didn't we see earlier already like a Leoric plus a Sonya? So ETC is banned out. I guess that leaves us with Muradin as the frontliner. Maybe even like a double, as I said, it could be even a double frontline if you want to go into like Muradin, Leoric, Muradin and Sonya could be played, but of course the healer is going to be an issue. Usually with Sonya you want to have that Uther for the Divine Shield, but we have still Rhaegar around, for example, and even Karazim with the Divine Palm, but Rhaegar with the Ancestral Healing is a little bit more popular, especially if you're trying to go into something like a Thrall. There is the Tyrael being picked now against Gale Force Esports, so against the Jaina in particular. Make sure, of course, that she doesn't get that damage in. And Tyrael, of course, has the shields as well. Would be still a bit surprised to see him as the only tank, so we are most likely going to see him in a setup with maybe a Sonya, maybe that Muradin, the Leoric too. Like, there's a couple of options of what he can play with it, but either way, it's going to be a pretty good setup. There's Charism first of all, and that lets me to believe that we could even see that melee assassin after all here for them. I really always feel like in a setup like this, the last pick is going to be a bit of a surprise. But yeah, the draft in general for eLevate is still a little bit unorthodox compared to what we usually see on the North American server. I've been watching the last few days, for example, in playoff day number 1 and number 2. You will probably agree. For now, we have Gale Force Esports with a very solid setup, as we already said. Charism is taken. Rhaegar is still on the map, so he can be taken out too. So he could go into that Rhaegar play. We have, of course, always the option to go. They could go for something like really fancy right now. We have seen once, I think it was the Bob Ross fan club who played it. Again, that Thrall. You know what I would have loved? I've seen one I was just about to say Morales and Hammer. Morales and Hammer, but it is Morales and Thrall instead. I can live with that too. So we have Morales being picked, and of course that stim drone on Thrall. And Morales is actually quite solid. It was played by C9 already earlier today in that game against the Chinese team as well, when they were facing Team OMG. And there is the Muradin as a last pick. So he's still coming in play with a Reverberation build against, of course, Thrall to like lock his targets a bit down to make sure that there's just not enough auto attack damage for him. But yeah, pretty sweet setup here. I'm liking that Morales. Dunk Train playing a very cool Morales earlier today. Now Gale Force Esports, they can show him how it's done and make sure that they win this match on Tomb of the Spider Queen and decide the best of 3 in their favor. Let's check that out. Game number 3 happening now, and of course Gale Force Esports again going up against Team eLevate. The game is on, everybody. We have our third match. It is game number 3 in the series here. As you can see, we have once more eLevate versus Gale Force Esports, and to the left side of the map, it is here at the North America playoffs. Nespa on Kel'Thas for Team eLevate. We have Bashix on Charism, Killig on Tyrael, Hawkfu on Sylvanas, and Boss Floss on Muradin. We're on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and to the right side of the map, it's Ball and Beast on Zagara. We are currently seeing Hao on Thrall, Hexo on Morales, Mystic on Johanna, and A on Jaina. So it's going to be the last map for this best of 3 series, and immediately the pause here by Ball and Beast. But, well, we can talk a bit about the setup here, and especially the level 1 talents. Lost Soul already taken here, so the reduced cooldown on the Shadow Dagger. Yeah, the chat spam is already quiet here by Nespa. Well, they are not playing an Orc in their lineup, so I'm not quite sure what he is currently like happy about here. But we are seeing an Orc on the opponent's side. Over there we have him, so that's Thrall right there. And we also have, of course, Morales. Morales going for the Trauma Trigger on level 1. And we have an adjustment with the Rolling Thunder. Now, I'm personally not so sure if that really is the best build here for Thrall. Like, personally, I mean, there's like a couple of builds that we have. There's either the Wind Furrier build, where you go into full Season Marksman on level 1, then it's a full Chain Lightning build, or you can go for a bit of a hybrid, where you start with Chain Lightning, but you move into Envenom, and then go straight into those Wind Fury talents. On this map in particular, I would really love to see Season Marksman, though, because the amount of stacks that you can get here is insane. We have again that big pressure play on both sides, just simply going for the towers. Like, these teams just hate team fighting, right? They want to start at level 4, they want to start with a couple of towers like taken down, and that's exactly what they're doing here. Talent hasn't been taken yet on Tyrael either, so we're not quite sure if he's going into the full tank build with potential Regeneration Master into the Amplified Healing. Hexo is like staying out of range and always just getting the heals in for Thrall, trying to help him out here. Bashix already on his money pick to the top lane, trying to roam around. Killig down here in a position where he is trying to just like deal with Ball and Beast. Still no level 1 talent taken for him. And the pressure play in the middle of the map as we're seeing Boss Floss jumping away. Hop, little dwarf. Hop, hop, hop. And extra damage against the heroes. Purge Evil. The Smite talent has been taken. So in this case, it's finally the Thrall on the side of the Gale Force Esports, and Thrall is already starting to move in, and they are starting to put some serious damage on Kel'Thas and also Muradin, both of them getting rather low here. We have now with that Chain Lightning build, him just dropping those out. It's of course a sustain talent you have for the extra mana that you get out of it. And Boss Floss, Bashix, and Espa are starting to rotate as well. Now on this map in particular, one of the main reasons why you're trying to do the rotations between the mid and the top lane is, of course, first of all, to take complete map control and really dominate those two lanes. Make sure that you also control the turn-in spot that is in the middle of the two, but also because you want to get as many stacks as possible for all your stacking heroes. Which in this case is, since there is no Season Marksman on Thrall, only Jaina with the Conjurer's Pursuit. The Vision, on the other hand, at the bottom of the map, that's where Ball and Beast comes into play because he wants to know what's happening at this turning point. So control is absolutely everything here. The level 4 talent hits a bit faster for the blue team, so we see eLevate going straight into the regeneration, well, into the amplified healing. No regeneration master taken on level 1, but still amplified healing to get that effect. Turn-ins happening for both sides, small ones. Yeah, Ball and Beast running into the wrong direction. Dude, that's the wrong base. That is the wrong base. He needs Google Maps because he is definitely lost. Yeah, taken down here. Killick is gonna lose, and that Zagara is dead. And that was actually a pretty sweet move, moving in from the side and trying to take her down. It is the Chain Lightning build with the right lightning now, so the additional 2 enemies that can be hit, extra charges later on as well. Advanced block on level 4, we are now seeing the Frost Shards taken as the level 4 talent. So a bit of an adjustment with the Jaina build, we've been talking about it already quite a bit. If you're good at hitting your skill shots, then a lot of the Jaina players have started to really go into Icelands on level 7, or go even into the Frost Shards, so that you get that extra pierce that you are able to just like get a few more hits in and all of that. Especially, of course, in this case, when you're trying to also like go in for the turn-ins and trying to just like channel or interrupt the channels, then that PS talent is quite nice. It's a bit similar to what we are seeing on the side of, well, Sylvanas oftentimes with Pierce on level 4 for Tyrande. Oh, sorry, Tyrande, not Sylvanas. And on level 1 you can then still go for the Empower, for example, just to give you another. But no level 1 talent here of the extra range on Jaina. It's just all about that spam then later on in the game. Morales is going for the advanced block. That helps her, of course, to mitigate some of the damage and to stay alive, so she is going to be a priority target. Again, the heals, and Morales is making sure that nobody dies just yet, even using, again, the grenade to push the opponents back here. And the rotation is still ongoing. Ball and Beast with his creep tumors everywhere, making sure that they have the perfect vision. Turn-ins are happening, especially up at the top, but there could be the more turnaround. Yes, and Hao is going full in on his Thrall. Gets healed the entire time by Hexo, but he should shift that around and try to help out Johanna a bit as well, which he does. Wow, Jaina actually in trouble, and so is now Johanna, but Muradin is already dead. Great moves here by Hexo, keeping everybody alive with Lieutenant Morales. Needs to mana up though, already dropping very, very low here, and that's the B back immediately. Mystic would actually have tried to turn in since Muradin is currently dead, but Hao is already at it once more, moving into the mid lane, trying to just like take down a few of the minions, claim those rewards, go for the gems, and yes, take it down. Looks a little bit like this guy. I mean, so far we have him with 9 of the gems. We're looking up to the top lane. We're currently seeing Hakfu A, and there's Mystic moving in. Yeah, Johanna, she is getting a lot of that bling-bling right now. She already is at 23. Well, 22, could have picked up that one and completely decided against it. Thrall is at 13. Doesn't want to hand those in just yet. Instead, he goes straight for the Monk and the potential kill even. But yeah, Boss Floss was moving in with another stun, and therefore that didn't really happen. So the Icelands has been taken on level 7 for Jaina. We are seeing also the Windshare talent now taken. That is an interesting choice, because usually when we're going for the Chain Lightning build, it's really all about the follow-through on level 7. But right now, it is the opposite. It's all about Wind Fury for now. On Thrall, anything goes. I mean, seriously, on Thrall, anything goes at this point. Like, any kind of build that you can imagine on Thrall seems to be viable if you, and you can make strong arguments for it. So at this point, yes, we are seeing Wind Fury on level 7. So it's a bit of a hybrid build between the two clean-cut builds that I've been talking about earlier. Here comes still a Gravity Lapse. Nespa is not really bringing Jaina in too much trouble, but that turn-in for the red team is, of course, faster. Full Stormbolt build, by the way, with a perfect Storm on level 1, the Sledgehammer, and also the Piercing Bolt that has been taken right now. And the teams are both moving against the Web Weavers now, especially at the bot lane. Of course, the pressure is really happening with the fort already being attacked, and they are going to take this one down. Heals against Jaina, and yep, Hao is on the way, but oh, the kill against Tyrael. And well, all of these gems are being taken by Boss Floss. He is 18 now. Bashik, on the other hand, gets sucked in by the Condemn once more. And is there going to be another lockdown? Is that Wolf going to travel? And yes, but it doesn't hit Boss Floss. They kill Karazim though, so it is a double kill, and the fort has been eliminated too. They can't really collect all of the gems, but they start to rotate now once again. Now, in the case of Thrall, we still have them currently with like 3 gems there. They have a fair amount. They can actually, like, with 31 gems, go straight for a turn again. They're not going to get a full turn in, of course, but still, as long as you get rid of those 36, you're going to need another 20. Easily obtained if you are this far ahead, especially if you hit that level 10 this early. And they are now going straight for their rogue ability. And with this, they should be able to even drop the second fort in the map now. Stim drone, of course, for Thrall. We are seeing more. We have Sundering taken. There's no ETC to interrupt this time, but the Water Elemental and the Blessed Shield are still there. And yeah, they are really, really rocking. Gale Force Esports, they are taking a significant lead in this game now. They're starting to use that level 10 to push the wall in even further. They're even going through those towers in the mid lane right now. Wow, they're really not stopping here. Up at the top lane, we're seeing Sylvanas trying to go for some counterplay. She has 20 of those gems already and is, of course, going to drop the experience for level 10. But still, the structures are lost everywhere. Level 10 finally in place. 7-sided strike, Avatar being used too. And it looks like the wall is going to fall against those roaches eventually. Well, maybe not. Yeah, there it is. Okay, already down. They use Sundering to move in, but there's no kill that they can go for. 40 gems. Here comes the attempt to go straight into a kill against Johanna. There's the stun. But already the medic moving away. Morales keeping them alive here. And then, no, Johanna once more moving in. Nice silence. More being used. Nespa is just rushing away. Hakfu is actually extremely low. Most likely going to die here. Goes down, but so will Jaina if she doesn't get healed. Hexo is ready to help out, and now it's still a 5 versus 4 with especially Karazim on the run since he's extremely low. Boss Floss is already activating his trade so that he can start to heal out again. But yeah, very solid situation here once again for the team in that. Gale Force Esports is doing very solid work. They still have one fort at the top lane that they eventually have to take down, but they are now at 47 gems. And with those already, they could go for another turn, you know. Well, close enough. I mean, they need like 7 more, but that's easily obtained, as already said before, as long as they can interrupt the turn, and that is happening for the blue team now. eLevate is attempting to get their own Web Weaver wave, and there's nobody to disrupt it, so they will get the objective now and start to move in. Down to the middle of the map, to the right side, we have a camp taken. And still the level lead for Gale Force Esports. They're starting to turn around again. Bale and Beast, or Ball and Beast, with the attempt to go for additional vision on the map. And are they going to get a kill in? They go for Muradin. Muradin is going to jump away, or was trying to. Finally, he moves out. But we have again up at the front line with that additional shield already How on his Thrall. And Thrall is really green Jesus. He is starting to go full force out on them and starts to take down that Web Weaver within seconds. The rotation down to the bottom of the map where the Web Weaver is starting to get some kills in, or at least trying to drop that wall. But again at the front line, Johanna with Thrall moving in, Sundering not used yet. Stim drone is about to be active again. Their cooldown is ready, so they could use it, and they go in. Here comes again Johanna, Thrall on the way, and in the back line, Jaina gets isolated, but Muradin is falling. No, he's not. He could have fallen there, but they don't get enough damage in, and now it is still Jaina. She's alive, and she can take down Tyrael. Great play here. No stim drone used yet, but we have Thrall on his way. Hakfu is getting sundered and misses the wave, and now, of course, he is gonna die. Sylvanas down. It's a double kill. And this is just absolutely a disaster for Gale Force Esports. They are now down 1.5 levels. They're currently looking at level 13 talents for their opponent. And this is a pretty brilliant one. We have already the spell shield used for Morales. She is going for the full defense here, as is also Johanna. Double spell shield. Grace of Air as a level 13 talent. Grooved Spines now. And the advanced ice block for Jaina. Great play here by Gale Force Esports, and they have the gems to turn in and get another Web Weaver wave on their own. And that is, of course, going to be amazing for them. They could even try to focus down the fort in the mid lane, and we are only 10 minutes into the game. But with them having another Web Weaver wave, they don't even have to bother about the fort at the top. They don't really need to. They could take it down, but as they have the lead, they could aim for the keep now. Especially, of course, since there's not even a tower left. So they're starting to go into the middle. They take down the waves already, and that puts the Web Weavers even farther ahead. Even the wall is now being taken down, so that there's no additional vision on the map, and already up to the front line, we're seeing Mystique. Here comes the Web Weaver, and this is the attempt to drop the first keep of the game, so they're going to start in with this one. All of the rogue abilities, except for the Stim Drone already, and that is only on a 10-second cooldown, so they are going to get this as well, and they start to move in. The Web Weaver already with the damage, yes, the Phoenix is trying to just put as much damage against the Web Weaver in as possible, but the keep is already about to fall, and they are just like healing everybody out. Hexer is all the way in the back, a little bit low, but able to keep the rest of the team alive. Gets stunned for a second, but here comes now also the turn against Sylvana. She's barely getting away out of this one. Boss Floss jumps away. Everybody is on the run. Here comes the 7-sided strike. Then Keep is still alive, and silence on Thrall, who has the stim drone. He wants to go for it. The kill against Tyrael. They're all moving away. Actually, they all move into the range. They lose Johanna, but they kill now Kel'Thas, and the Keep is eliminated too. Still the Web Weaver at the bot lane, starting to push the walls in, taking down a few of the towers. And as we see the level 13 talent now also for Team eLevate, we are still looking at the 4 to the top lane, which is currently being put under pressure by the Web Weaver. And they, of course, just move in to take that down now too. There's nobody that can really contest it, since we see eLevate being 2 heroes short in this case. Great plays here on the side of Gale Force Esports. But the chain bombs are finally ready. Chain bombs are finally in play, and maybe that's the talent that they really need to just come back into this. It's one of the most powerful talents in the game, and it dishes out so much damage in those close quarter fights. So this is a chance that eLevate has to maybe turn this around. But 8 kills against 2 pretty much tells the story of how the game went so far. Especially when you're looking at the map and realize that there is already a keep missing, with also 2 forts still in place for the red team. So Gale Force Esports, they are about to eliminate their opponents here, but it's not there just yet. We're still seeing the moves in the mid lane, where another wave is being eliminated. How is in play. Fallen Beast, Mystique, they're all in position. And now, of course, it's just the approach to go for another Web Weaver wave if they can get it. But they are only at 28 gems. They don't have more than that. 28 gems, that's all that they have for now. But the potential to just like move down to the bot lane, get another camp, maybe take the one to the right side as well, where there's still like another camp another camp available. Like the Bruiser camp could be taken here. Then the level 16 talent is of course going to be a result of those efforts as well. So now with level 16, we're seeing the final talent for the Wind Fury. We have Tempest Fury taken, and there is the inoculation. So it's also going to be pretty neat. Plus the Brood expansion for the extra damage. Move down to the bot lane, and they are apparently just trying to burst this one down. Yep, they're going for it. They're bursting it down, they're moving in, they're trying to put as much pressure in as they possibly can. They have a camp moving in together with them, and this could be the kill against Keep number 2. Phoenix for the zoning, everybody else beat back, but that's already the Keep on half HP, and there's still those 2 Siege Giants to consider. They drop their Keep within seconds, and without the level 16 talent, there's very little to do now for eLevate. Great aggression by Gale Force Esports. I'm liking this a lot. And they have Morales in the back who can just go for the heals over and over again. And Morales is currently already at 47,000 heals, which is pretty impressive actually. 57,000. 57,000. That's nearly twice what Charism has at this point, and Charism, of course, is already a pretty amazing healer. So 2 of the Keeps are down. They start to go in again. They're trying to save Johanna, who was in a bit of a pickle there. But yeah, she gets away. We have another tower about to fall, and there's still a boss at the top that he could take. There's also 40 gems that they have. It's not quite enough to really get another Web Weaver set, but still, it's getting close, and they're also taking out the camps away, which forces, again, eLevate to defend here. Could even move for the boss and maybe, like, go for a bit of a fake there. The top lane is pressuring hard against them. That's why we have, like, a very big wave. I mean, this is, like, massive. Think about the number of gems that you are seeing here. But they're not going to be able to move back in time to get all of those. That would need a false stat to fly in, so yeah, that's not going to happen. But this is a pretty big wave. I mean, there's gems everywhere right now, but they can't take them. Well, they're at least trying to get a few of them, but for now, it's really just the turn-in that we're seeing. So they turn in the gems that they have. It's level 17 versus 15. It's going to be that level 16 talent then, on the other hand, that is going to allow Team eLevate to maybe like move in again. And they actually have the count. They have 56 gems now, and they only need another 18. And they're going to have another Web Weaver wave. So there's the fight once more. Level 16 talent isn't ready. It is not ready yet. Without the level 16 talent, they're trying to jump away. Kel'Thas is low, and he's getting slowed. Kel'Thas is dead. And now they go for Muradin. And Muradin is very likely to also fall. The chain bombs have been doing significant damage, but now Boss Floss is slowed again, hops away. It's still a 5 versus 4, and this could mean boss. Now they can move up to the top and really just use that numeric advantage that they have. They even show what they're doing. They really don't care. The level 16 talent, on the other hand, is going to have the Holy Ground ready for Tyrael. And with Holy Ground, he might be able to steal that away. But they don't even go for it. They're not even trying to. They're not even sure if this is a trap or not. So we have now Soothing Breeze taken over the Circle of Life against all that CC that we have that's slowing these stuns. So Soothing Breeze instead. They let the boss go. The Web Weavers are still going to push for the blue team. But we have now, next to that, the boss starting to push the top lane. And of course, the big risk with this is that the last keep of the game is going to fall. With a 2-level lead, Gale Force Esports are in a very nice move, and that Web Weaver here is not gonna last a minute. Yep, zip, and gone. Goodbye, dear Web Weaver. It was nice knowing you. That's already down, and they go straight for the top lane. So now the wall is about to fall, and that is exactly, of course, where they want to go. Take the last keep down, expose that core completely, and from that on, they can just use any kind of Web Weaver wave to put a massive amount of pressure onto the keep itself, or onto the core itself, and take it from there. This keep is not going to survive. If they get a kill or two, they could even like finish the game now, but they won't be able to do that. It doesn't really feel like we're going to see eLevate expose themselves enough for that to happen. They are still trying though, and whoa, that stun nearly hits Muradin though. Here comes the Maw, they go for Muradin, they're trying to move in, Water Elemental already used, Boss Floss dodges the Wolf, but they're starting to move in again. Actually, Tyrell is trying to go for the chase. Here comes the Phoenix again. They use Johanna to move in, and they go straight for Khaldor, but it looks like, yes, Zagara is down. And they really moved in. I'm not quite sure why exactly they did that. There was no real reason to fight there. They're starting to move back now, but they already lost the first hero, and it looks like that could continue. Tyrael. Oh, it's getting really, really close. He needs to be careful. Tyrael is down as well, but they could take down Johanna now. There's the Sundering, and immediately the turnaround against Sylvanas. But Johanna is dead. It's a 3 versus 4 here once again. Hexo is super low, but still able to escape here. I don't think we've seen a single kill against Morales yet. We didn't. 10 kills against 4 overall. 18 gems still available, and that means 2 more gems and they can turn in again. And with every single keep already eliminated and all the keeps down, that of course means that the core is very much exposed and will most likely fall once that the Web Weavers are again in play. Especially with the potential level 20 talent that they could also use for this. So yeah, 17 versus 19, the levels that we have in play right now. Already Bashix and everybody else for eLevate is starting to move into the middle. The big deal for them, of course, is if they turn in themselves now and have 58 gems, get another 2, complete that turn and get the Web Weavers once more, they might just be able to get enough experience to close in on that level 19 that we already see for Gale Force Esports. And if they do that, that would be just the ideal scenario. But this is also what we're currently seeing, that attempted turn-in for Gale Force Esports. But they have to be fast, because down here Hakfu is already starting the channel. Yes, there is the potential to interrupt it, and they get it. Okay, but they have to expose themselves, and this is oh my god, how is, yeah. Oh god, they expose themselves too much, and Gale Force Esports, they might actually lose this game after all if they continue like this. They will hit the level 20 faster, but now they have to deal with the Web Weavers. They just lost Jaina trying to move in and interrupt that channel. They themselves have turned in most of the gems. There's still a few short though. But yeah, it's all about the defense against the Web Weavers right now. And since they still have 2 forts available and should get level 20 soon, it seems like it's going to be all good. Blue Web Weavers are going to be in play in a few seconds and are going to push these lanes, but you can already tell that they are just like spawning super far back. I mean, they're so far back right now, it's not going to become a huge threat for them. And yeah, this Web Weaver is not even making it, because the 3 catapults are taking it out just easily. Look at this, that didn't do anything. Web Weaver did not do a thing. Over here, on the other hand, level 20 is definitely going to change things quite significantly, even though it's only a level lead. But still, this keep is very unlikely to fall there in the end. So once again, another Web Weaver. Well, can they take down 1-2 minions? That's all they need, and here's the level 20. Are we going to see double Bolt of the Storm, triple Bolt of the Storm, and the Caduceus Reactor together with the Indestructible that has now been taken. So they could try and move in against this. Holy Ground already taken. Mystique is starting to move in with the doubloon, riding that thing hard. And Hao plus the rest of them, they're already starting to move straight into the mid lane when another Web Weaver is ready. If they get the turn in, they have 8 gems. They need to defeat the Web Weavers first, but then they could really start to turn this around completely. Boss Floss already taking a significant amount of damage. Ball and Beast is putting even more on top of that. And we see the core already attack to the left side. The Web Weaver is still ready, by the way. Is now taken down. They need 17 gems. They only have 8, but they try to go for the fight and finish it here. And Muradin is already in trouble. Muradin about to jump out. 7-sided strike. Zagara is dead again. And Gale Force Esports, they're really going for the throw here. They're really starting to throw this. Team eLevate is starting a comeback, and they eliminate now also Thrall and have their level 20s as well. We still see 5 structures against 0, but this is 20 versus 20. Now Transgression has been chosen, double Bolt of the Storm, rewind on Muradin, and this is starting to look worse and worse for the team in red. I mean, they still have a situation where the entire core is exposed, but they can't capitalize on it. They were 2 levels ahead earlier, and they had all of the keeps dropped, and now all of a sudden it starts to turn against them. They're going for a bit of a backdoor attempt here with 3 heroes that would force them back from the boss. The problem really is that the boss is already taken, so it doesn't really matter anymore. They just go for the camp instead and trying to push these structures in. But this is starting to really hurt a little bit. 7 kills against 10 by now, and Gale Force Esports, they are making this game exciting again. So yes, this is the push up at the top lane. We're going to see that keep fall. That is a given. The question is, how far are they going to push in with the boss? Are they going to try to finish the game here? And guys, they could actually try to do that. It's a 22-minute boss, so this thing hurts. And there's no keep to go through. So well, the core is being attacked, and this is now starting to become a big issue because there's catapults everywhere. So we have to consider this as well. But over here, the attack is happening. The boss is marching for the core. This is the team fight that they've been waiting for. The core is losing the shields at the left side of the map, but over here, the fight is still raging. Who is going to finish it first? 30% on the core, 67 already on the core over there to the left, but this fight is starting. Johanna is down. The boss is dropping the shields as well, and it looks like it's Team eLevate who's going to win the game. Team eLevate is going to take it here. Yep, Gale Force Esports, they are throwing the match, and now it is the win for eLevate. 0% against 47. This game is over. A 2-1 victory for Team eLevate. Gale Force Esports is out of the tournament. Okay, everybody, that's it for the day. We had some really fun games here, and I hope that you enjoyed them and also the commentary. Of course, we're going to have more Heroes of the Storm action on the channel in the near future. So if you enjoyed the esports scene Heroes of the Storm, make sure that you hit that subscribe button on Khaldor TV and also like the video if you haven't done that yet already. There's going to be more European games. We're going to have more North American matches as well. And of course, if you're interested in the Chinese Heroes of the Storm esports scene, I'm going to have more games on the channel as well in the near future as those leagues start again. At the same time, though, if you have friends that are also interested in esports and in Heroes of the Storm, make sure that you forward the channel to them and share it with them. It was a pleasure casting for you today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed, as I already mentioned, and I hope to see you next time for more Heroes of the Storm action here on Khaldor TV. See you guys soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.